Cole Palmer's out for 6 weeks. Badia Shields out until December. 3 of our first teamers are a doubt for tomorrow's game against Nottingham Forest. Mate, if Big Ange loses this game, he's definitely getting sacked. Welcome, Blue Believers, to another episode of the Stamford Sync, where we are syncing up with everything Chelsea FC. And football's back. Let's be positive for a second before we talk about the nightmare that is our injury crisis, worries, woes, whatever you want to call it. I don't even know where we are anymore. Everyone's getting injured, aren't they? But first things first. Oh, football's back, man. Mate, I'm so bored of this. And this international break's even more boring than the last one was, to be fair. And we've got another one in November as well, man. Like, what is it? How do we have 6 weeks? 6 weeks in 3 months. All international breaks, all absolutely boring. England are not exactly very fun to watch either. If you are a fan of another country, please come in the comments and tell me if you are enjoying watching your country at the moment, because watching England is just a bit of a drag. So we're going to talk a bit about Enzo Maresca's press conference and our current injury woes, and we are going to look at the game tomorrow against Nottingham Forest. We're going to do all the fun things. We're going to pick a line and figure out if we can win. You know the drill. But guys, before we get into it, if you're enjoying the content and would like to see more, please do me the distinct honor of liking and sharing the video, subscribe to the channel, or just roast me in the comments, whatever gets you through your day. Just hit 1,000 subs. Now we're on the road to 10k. Right, so big news first. Cole Palmer's never going to play football ever again. No, obviously it's not quite that bad, but oh mate, it's so annoying, isn't it? So Maresca came out in the press conference and said that, it turns out Cole Palmer's going to be out for the next 6 weeks. So chances are we're probably not really going to see him until next year, because it's just one of those, isn't it? Like, maybe he gets a few minutes here and there, but, we now have to go forward for a reasonably significant period of time without the idea that Cole Palmer can play in our team at all. So what does that mean for the centre attacking position? Are we light? A little bit. We also got some bad news about Benoit Badiashile. He is going to be out until December. So him and Achiampong both sat down at various moments in the Liverpool game. And although initially David Ornstein came out and said, they're both fine. So that was like, yeah, okay, cool. Turned out Badiashile, not so much. He's going to be out until December, which is a real shame, man, because he looked really good in that Liverpool game, and he's probably the next best option now, after Levi Colwill, to play the old Pasi Maguba role. So, but Tosin is back and fit, so we're probably going to see a little bit of him. So on top of those two fairly mighty blows to our squad, there's also some concerns about some other players in the team as well. Moises Caicedo, Pedro Neto, and Enzo Fernandez are all a doubt for tomorrow's game. Now, in the case of Caicedo, he's been a doubt for games millions of times and has basically always played. So I'm thinking, we'll get into it in the lineup in a minute, but I do think Caicedo will probably play. Enzo Fernandez, I didn't really expect to play this game anyway, because so he pulled out of international duty with Argentina due to a case of synovitis, and we're yet to hear proper concrete information on how badly that's affected him. And even if he'd have stayed with Argentina, he'd only have finished like a few days ago anyway, do you know what I mean? So it would have been a bit of a rush to get him back in when he was already looking a bit leggy. And Pedro Neto, that's a surprise. He's been playing for Portugal, no injury worries as far as we know, but obviously he's picked something up and isn't feeling good. And to be fair, kind of like João Pedro, like, he's just been going, man. He's been going and going and going. He's played so many games for us. He's legging it up and down that pitch all of the time, and started to look a little bit leggy in those last few games we had as well. So I guess this could have come at a worse time, because Nottingham Forest are not exactly smashing it at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember our first game against Nottingham Forest last year. I remember we drew, and I remember being like, oh, that's so annoying. We should be winning that game. But obviously then they nearly got into the Champions League. So it was like, okay, fair enough, good team. But they are pretty low in the table at the moment. And that brings us on to the Ange Postecoglou news. Is this Big Ange's final foray into the Nottingham Forest dugout? It's possible, man. It's possible. I was surprised when they went for Ange Postecoglou, and not because I don't think he's a good manager. I think if you give him the right tools, I think he can absolutely do a good job. And he showed that in spits and spats with Tottenham. Obviously, their league form was terrible last season. Very dedicated to his style and stuff. But it's the character and the personality that surprised me, really. Marinakis, the owner of Nottingham Forest, he is a massive character, right? Absolutely huge character. We all saw what happened with Nuno. Do you know what I mean? Nuno at the end of the season last year, when he was it's like Marinakis was like running on the pitch and shouting at him, and they had to come out and be like, no, it wasn't that, honestly, it wasn't that. And the thing is, if you look at Nuno and Ange Postecoglou next to each other, it's like Ange is like quite big and quite brash, and he'll come out and he'll say something cutting in the media and this, that, and the other, won't he? But Nuno's a lot more chill, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. It's the easiest way to describe it. Nuno's definitely a lot more chill. So, like I say, I already was quite surprised. A few people before he went to Benfica were like Jose Mourinho for Nottingham Forest. And I was like, I love that idea of the manager with that team. But instantly in my head, I was like, nah, that won't work, man. Marinakis, they'll tear each other to absolute shreds. But ultimately, I don't know if the personality is really what the problem is. The problem is more that there's just nothing going on the pitch. Like, they've kind of been even worse under Big Ange than they were under Nuno. So obviously results is what it comes down to. And there have been about 5 days ago, I saw a little rumour that maybe Sean Dyche would be in the dugout for Nottingham Forest for the Chelsea game. And obviously that hasn't come to pass. They've still got Big Ange now, but it does feel like his last opportunity to show he can do something. And that in itself makes the game a little bit more worrying, doesn't it? Because he's like a wounded animal at the moment, isn't he? Like, you know, at his scariest. It depends, because at the end of the day, if Ange has already got one eye out the door, but he's like, you know, a lot of managers do this, don't they? They're like, I'm not leaving. You'll sack me so I can get paid, or I'll stay here forever. And we've seen that loads of times. So Ange has got a little bit more power than Marinakis has in this respect. So it won't have been Ange being like, no, I'm going to stay for this game. It'll be Marinakis being like, right, I'll give him this game. So we'll see what happens. But like I say, the wounded animal scenario is a worrying one, because if Ange does feel under pressure that he doesn't want to lose this job and he really wants to stay at Nottingham Forest, then something, you know, magical might happen for them where he really, really pulls it out of the bag. Also, the fact that we're still going to have a relatively cobbled together squad could make the game difficult. So with that in mind, let's move on to my predicted 11 for tomorrow's game against Nottingham Forest. I just miss the days when, you know, 8 out of your 11 kind of always picks itself, and we're really just not in that situation at the moment, are we? But we'll start with the goalkeeper. We always start with the goalkeeper. It's Rob Sanchez. Not really much to say about that. He's not been obviously playing for Spain because he's, you know, nowhere near good enough to get into their international team. He's fit. He's been okay recently. Nothing horrendous since the red card. So fairly simple one for me. Rob Sanchez gets the start. Right back. Good news. Reece James is fine. Oh, man, it is such a who's who at the moment, isn't it? But yeah, Reece James is cool. Reece James is okay, and I very much expect him to start in the right back spot. Left back, Marc Cucurella. I am not because there's any reason in the news to be, but I'm starting to get concerned about Marc Cucurella just because he's playing so much football. He plays every game for us. He plays every game for Spain. And I'm just worried at some point that his little batteries are just going to run out. Do you know what I mean? And you know, maybe he picks up an injury or something. But as of right now, there's nothing like that going on. So it is obvious Marc Cucurella starts for us at left back. If not only, you know, if not just because he's one of the only fit players, we've got also his versatility in a time that we are potentially missing a lot of players will be really helpful. Centre backs, I'm going to go quite boring and standard. Trevor Chalobah, and Trevor Chalobah is, you know, earned it as far as I'm concerned. Like, he's been our most consistent centre back this season. And obviously, I don't really blame him for the sending off he got in the Brighton game. Do you know what I mean? That was definitely more to do with Andre Santos's wayward back pass, shall we call it. So yeah, for me, Trevor Chalobah gets the start, and I am going to be boring and put Tosin Adarabioyo next to him. We've got and a little spoiler for my Ajax prediction. I actually have a feeling that Josh Achiampong might start against Ajax in the Champions League. But for this one, I think Tosin, you know, when Palmer initially got injured, him and Tosin were going to come back after the international break. Palmer obviously not, but Tosin seems to be available. And without Benoit Badiashile there, the Parsi Maguba role will probably fall to Tosin. Midfield, so I'm going to say Moises Caicedo as the first in the double pivot, because, and that is based on, there's been loads of times recently, isn't there, that, you know, he's missed training, or he's not been available, or he's not, you know, whatever. And then all of a sudden he just finds himself in the team and just plays amazing for us. And without Cole Palmer in the team, arguably, Moises Caicedo is our best player. I don't even know, arguably, it's just a bit of a fact at this point, isn't it? Moises Caicedo is kind of running the show, so he absolutely gets the start if he's fit. Please be fit. In the other double pivot, I'm going to go with Romeo Lavia, and he's been seen training with the team. I really like Romeo Lavia. if he can shake off his injury issues the same way Reece James had, I think he could be transformative for the team, because I think he offers something that no one else does. Do you know what I mean? He's more of a deep-lying midfielder than Enzo Fernandez, but less of a defensive number 6 than someone like a Moises Caicedo. He kind of fits quite nicely in between those two players. His passing's really, really good. And I've said it a few times, I just think the midfield looks better when Lavia's in it. It's a shame because you can't rely on him, and he's got quite a specific skill set, I guess. So it's not really easy to go out and find other midfielders like Romeo Lavia. But for me, when Lavia's in the team and he's fit and he's been playing a little bit, we look really good. Do you know what I mean? So I do think we'll see him line up against Moises Caicedo tomorrow. Right, the attacking three. So left wing, I'll start on the left wing today. Alejandro Garnacho. I think he has started to show something, and he's not scoring yet. He forced an own goal, do you know what I mean? Which is, great. We love that. I remember Eden Hazard did that once as well, and I was very happy about it then, so I'll also be happy about it for Garnacho. But I do think that Garnacho is starting to cook, right? Jamie Gittins still looks a little bit off the pace, and I think Garnacho he's just got so much Premier League experience, man. Do you know what I mean? He's just got so much Premier League experience, and we're going to kind of need that. And also, he just seems to fit the system quite well. Do you know what I mean? He's good at staying wide. He drifts in. Do you know what I mean? He's good at linking up with other players, and he's starting to shoot. he's starting to shoot, right? So hopefully he gets us a goal soon and breaks his duck. But Garnacho seems like a solid pick for me in the left wing spot. In the middle, I'm going to go for Facundo Buonanotte, and he has been decent, man. It is one of those, isn't it? It's like he scored a couple of goals against lower opposition, I guess, like nothing crazy. But at the same time, it's not even really the goals and assists for me. It's how well he links play together. And do you know what I mean? He looks like a functional part of the unit. And it's different, isn't it? Because when Cole Palmer's there, it's get the ball to Cole Palmer. But obviously with the Facundo Buonanotte in the middle, he's more so trying to get the ball to other people. So it's, it's a good job we got him at the end of the day, because our centre attacking position is definitely a bit threadbare at the moment. But I know there's going to be arguments for Estevao getting in there, but this is largely driven by the Pedro Neto news. Now, maybe Pedro Neto's okay like Caicedo is, but I'm going to just assume that Pedro Neto's not okay, even though I think Caicedo might be. And I'm going to put Facundo Buonanotte in the centre of attack. And on the right, I'm going to put Estevao William. He has just been on fire recently, right? Scored in the Liverpool game, 2 goals in his first game for Brazil in the international break. Took some time off with the flu, but went back and started training with the team. So I actually don't know when he finished his international break either. It might have been similar time to Enzo Fernandez, but I didn't read anything about it. But either way, he's younger, he's got a bit more energy, and he's on form at the moment. And that's a really important thing, right? And without Cole Palmer, for the foreseeable future, Estevao becomes our next kind of point of attacking flair in our attacking midfield. Do you know what I mean? Garnacho's still got some work to do. Facundo Buonanotte is kind of warming up to it. I know Malagusto sort of maintained that position in a game that we did quite well in. But at the same, I think that was the Liverpool game, wasn't it? He was spending a lot of time in the centre of attack. But do I think we can just slam Malagusto in the centre of attack? No, I don't. I think, Buonanotte is obviously the shout for that, but I think Estevao William is the time for him to kind of lock his position in the team. Do you know what I mean? If Pedro Neto is going to be out, then the other option there is like put Jamie Gittins there, do you know what I mean? Or, dip into the academy. And look, man, I know Nottingham Forest aren't exactly smashing it at the moment, but at the same time, it's like I said, the wounded animal factor is something that we maybe need to watch out for. So I think we could do with a bit of magic. And as far as we're seeing at the moment, Estevao William's really the only guy that's got that. And up top, I'm going to put João Pedro. João Pedro didn't play in the international break, so I am hoping that means he's okay. There's been, the press conference, there was no news about him. It was Pedro Neto that was maybe having a problem. João Pedro hopefully has taken a couple of weeks to chill and train and rest and get some stamina and energy back, because he's gone 8 games, I think it is now, without a goal. Which is a shame, because he was on fire, and not from the start of the season, obviously from the Club World Cup into pre-season, a couple of goals at the start of the season, but since then, I think I saw somewhere it was 8 games without a goal. But he's just the option, isn't he? Because I do not want to see Tyreek George starting up front tomorrow. I'd rather see Mark Yu, truth be told, but, obviously there's all this noise about Mark Yu going back to Sunderland at the moment, isn't there? We're not a million miles away from January, and if João Pedro is fit, then João Pedro's got to play. So that's it, guys. That is my fairly conservative and experimental at the same time lineup for the Nottingham Forest game tomorrow. Like I said, man, I am expecting this not to be a walkover game, and I'm kind of banking on that wounded animal factor. It depends on how much Ange Postecoglou wants to keep his job. If he wants to get sacked, which I don't know, man. I don't know how the minds of managers work in these situations. It's so complicated, isn't it? But if he's not bothered about staying there, then he'll just let us walk it. And I don't think that's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? He'll come out and he'll do his Ange thing. And they've got good players, man. They've got good players. So, it is a game we absolutely should win, but we shouldn't take it for granted. It's not a Lincoln situation. Do you know what I mean? And we even struggled a little bit against them, arguably. So that's it, guys. That is the news and my lineup for tomorrow's game. But pertaining to tomorrow's game, I will be doing a watch-along with Kai from Behind the Dugouts. We are going to be setting up on my channel, and we're going to watch the game together. So come along and have some banter and with us in the chat. It's going to be a good time. We did a watch-along a little while ago for... I think it was the Brighton game, actually. I can't remember. We did one quite recently, and it was really, really fun. And you guys in the comments were great. We had a really good time with everyone. So we're going to do that again tomorrow. A little bit of an early kickoff, which is always a bit annoying, but we're going to be there. So come along and let's have a good time. Nice one, guys. I'm going to wrap the video up there. Thank you very much for sticking around to the end. If you did, I will catch up with you all very, very soon. Take it easy. Peace.